reading level can be anywhere from 6th grade to at level. I've differentiated some stuff in the lesson. I'll start. All right, so you have a do now on the board. I'm going to give you 1 minute to do your do now. It's, have you ever asked someone a why question and the answer just because? How did it feel to get that kind of a response? If this has never happened to you, imagine how it would feel. All right, 5 more seconds. Finish up your last thought. Okay. Hannah, what did you respond to that?
This has happened to me before.
Mm-hmm.
I've asked my mom if I could stay out to a certain time, and she said no, and I'd say why, and she would just say because, or because I said so.
Right.
And that was really, really frustrating because she wasn't giving me any sort of real reason why I couldn't stay out later.
Right. Of course. So it's frustrating when we want to know why something is the way it is, and someone says just because. It's kind of aggravating. Okay, so why don't we just do that? Because reading is very much the same way, that when we're reading and we don't really know why we're reading, it can be a bit frustrating. So today we're going to start reading Raisin in the Sun. You all have the reading in front of you, and I've split it up into parts so we can all read it together. But before we do that, I'm going to give you all a question to think about while we're reading, and whichever question you have, I want you to underline something that has stuff that has to do with your question, okay? All right. So if you're a 1, your question is if this room, okay, so we're talking about the Youngers' living room. We're reading Raisin in the Sun. It's about a family called the Youngers. If this room were a person, what kind of person would it be? Question 2, if you have a 2, it's what would be important information if you wanted to rent the Youngers' apartment? And question 3, how would living in this space make you feel, and why would you feel this way? Okay? All right. So when everybody is open up to the page and ready to start reading, can you just hold up your paper for me? So there you go. Lauren. Great. Okay, and see, I've split it up into little sections, so when I ask you to read, you're just going to read that section, and then I'll call on someone else. If you come up a word with a fun little letter next to it, that's because I've taken it out as a vocab word, so you're going to tell me one of the synonyms, which is, what's a synonym, Ramya?
A word that means what another word means.
Exactly, it's a word that means what another word means. So I gave you those synonyms there, so you'll just give me a synonym for one of those words. All right, so Keegan, what are you going to be doing while we're reading?
Underline for my question.
Underline for your question. And if you forget what your question is, it's right up here. Okay. Sylvia, can you please start us off section 1?
The Younger living room would be a comfortable and well-ordered room if there were not for a number of indestructible contradictions to the state of being.
And what does indestructible mean?
Permanent.
Great.
Its furnishings are typical and undistinguished, and their primary feature now is that they have clearly had to accommodate the living of too many people for too many years, and they are tired.
Great. Lauren, can you take over?
Still, we can see that at some time, a time probably no longer remembered by the family, except perhaps for Mommy, the furnishings of this room were actually selected with the care and love and even hope, and brought to this apartment and arranged with taste and pride.
All right. Great. John?
That was a long time ago. Now, the once loved pattern of the couch upholstery has sufficed to show itself from under
Acres.
acres.
A lot of space.
A big pictures of
Crocheted
crochet.
doilies. So those are like those fluffy, those frilly things that old ladies like to put underneath vases, and they're just for decoration. That's okay that you don't know that, John.
And couch covers, which have themselves finally come to be more important than the upholstery. And here a table or a chair has been moved to disguise the worn places in the carpet. But the carpet has fought back by showing its weariness with depressing uniformity elsewhere on the surface.
Great. And what does uniformity mean?
Sameness.
Sameness. Great. Yeah, can you pick up?
Weariness has, in fact, won in this room.
Weariness is tiredness.
Everything has been polished, washed, sat on, used, scrubbed too often. All pretenses but living itself have long since vanished from the very atmosphere of this room.
Joe, can you finish that up?
Moreover, a section of this room, for it is not really a room unto itself, to the landlord's lease would make it seem so, slopes backward to provide a small kitchen area where the family prepares the meals that are eaten in the living room proper, which must also serve as dining room. The single window that has been provided for these two rooms is located in this kitchen area. The sole natural light the family may enjoy in the course of a day is only that which fights its way through this little window.
Great. I saw a lot of really good underlining going along there, so that was good. Okay. So now, depending on what your question is, you can take some time to answer it. I'd like you to answer it. There's space where you can answer it right here. You can put it on a piece of loose leaf. I want you to write it down and take 2 to 3 minutes to answer your question. Yep. Which one's your question?
Are these not for you to read it, or is this
That was just to split it up so that while we were all sharing out, then it would be easier for people to kind of see.
Okay, never mind.
Okay, cool. Are you stuck? Yeah, that was. Go. Let's go. So just watch them if you read, what do you think would be relevant if you were going to, if you were going to ask this department, what here would be relevant? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Thank you. John? Which one is that? All right, 30 more seconds to finish up. Bless you.
Thanks.
All right, and we'll stop writing there. All right, so I wanted to start with Joe because I just saw that he had a really great answer. Joe, what was your question?
Mine was question 1, this room or person, what kind of person would it be?
Great, and what did you say?
I said a small and lonely old person, someone who is worn out and nostalgic, and this is their whole life.
Awesome. Can you give us a little bit of a clue what kind of words and what kind of lines in the text made you get that?
Sure. Well, at the end of the first section, when saying that the room was, that the people in the room were tired, that reflected the state of the room itself. And that at one time the rooms, orderlies were selected with care, meaning that there was a better time, and that maybe the room now would feel nostalgic for that better time.
Excellent. Yeah, so the room didn't always look this way. It once was a really nice room, so there's that sense of nostalgia, which we talked about. Lauren, which question did you have?
2.
Great. Which was
Oh,
if the room were a person?
No, it's, what would be important information to know if you wanted to collect.
Great. And what did you say?
Well, the first line said it would be comfortable if it wasn't so cramped, so.
Right.
So it would be nice if you could see outside of everything. But it only has one small window providing natural light into the living room and living area. 2 small rooms, though I didn't really understand if it was like one room that they tried to split it into 2.
Okay, yeah, it says that, right, it says 2 small rooms, but the land. Right, so we're thinking that maybe that means, that tells me that maybe that it's not really 2 big rooms, but the landlord tells them that it is making more than, or something.
Typical New York.
Yeah.
And the carpet's worn out.
Okay, great. So I like that you picked up that it's not all bad. They do say that the house is comfortable, but there are things about it that could be better. And it's cramped. All right, we've heard question 1, question 2, who had question 3? Keegan, what did you say for question 3?
I said living in this place would make me feel cramped, tired, and sad, like eating a hangover breakfast in a dimly lit country buffet filled with the old folks from next door.
That's great. That's really great. Yeah. I would make you feel that way. That's what it sounds like for a ninth grader. All right. This is your closing. Was it easier or harder for you than writing without a question, and why do you think this is? So was it easier for you to write when you had a question to think about in mind, or no? Sylvia?
I thought it was easier with the question because there's a lot of details in this passage, even though it's like pretty short. And so just having to focus on the details that pertain to my question helped me focus on one thing.
Great. Well, I'm happy to hear that. That's great. And we can use that skill for when we read this in the future. We can give ourselves purposes for reading and give ourselves things to think about.